the truth. When she smiles at you, she'll say that angels don't lie.
Welcome to the Angels Don't Lie podcast. This is your host, Jeannie Street. Today we're going to talk about the 7 ways that Spirit's guidance can help us. In my line of work of being a medium, I'm not only connecting people to their departed loved ones, I also connect them with detailed guidance that helps them to make positive shifts in their life. I like to refer to it that my specialty, I feel like I specialize with my work, is around healing. Meaning whatever is meant for their highest and best good is what's going to show up in the session. One of the things I always like to tell my group audiences is that while we come maybe with an agenda or something that we want to know, Spirit shows up with what we need, not with what we want. So while we may want to hear from Uncle Joe or Aunt Betty, and what shows up is maybe our stepfather who caused us pain and harm, and it's not what we wanted. But what will happen in that session, in that reading, is the healing that you needed, is the healing that God said is for you, that you don't have to carry around the remorse or the anger or the judgment, that you could actually be validated for the pain. And I love this. I love when departed loved ones step up and they show up in order to help us make positive shifts in our life. And there's one really brilliant thing that I think we should all know about what this work is about. That receiving Spirit's guidance like this, receiving those validating messages, that's a miracle moment. A miracle where God said, I'm going to share this light with you. That life is hard. Guys, life is hard. It's messy. I don't know about you, but life can be really messy and uncomfortable, especially when we have opinions and turmoil and people, and there's just no way around that it's going to just be joyful, joyful, joyful all the time. So each session offers an invaluable healing and loving insights that are shed on areas where love might not be flowing freely, and we don't even realize it. And what does that look like? It means in an area that we might be stuck, in maybe where we might be holding a judgment we don't even think we are. It could be in an area where we have an unforgiveness of self or another, of something that we might have buried down and we don't want to talk about. Oh yeah, I've forgiven, I forgot, it's gone. But then our loved one shows up in a session and says, hey, look at this. And we all have things. We all have these things in our lives to heal so that we can have a higher and best life. And these experiences are hard, right? We know this. We've talked about it a million ways. They help us grow, help us evolve closer to God, but they're hard, big things. I think I want to share with you, and I wasn't sure I was going to be able to share this with you because it's a very uncomfortable thing, but I feel like it's going to be valuable and helpful. In my book, The Goddess You, I share a story with you. I share a very personal incident that happened where a man had come into my shoe store, and it was the first time that I saw Spirit again since I had been a child. This moment was so bright and shiny, and I had been turned off from my gift. I had shut it down because I was living in fear. I had been told as a child, no, there's no people in your room. So I told myself this story. Well, I must be lying if they can't see it, blah, blah, blah. It's a whole story in itself. Anyways, this man, he comes into my store, and immediately I see Spirit again, and Spirit saying, get behind the desk. And they're showing me the color red. But the feeling that's rushing through my body is a truth, a knowing, something that I've always had, this knowing of he's going to hurt me. And it's the first time I trusted my intuition, is where God speaks to us. And I've done shows on this before. You can go and look them up because they are really incredible if you're having a hard time listening to your own intuition. So I listened. I said, I gotta listen. This is undeniable. There's something wrong. I'm in this building by myself, and there's nobody here, and this man walks in and he's gonna hurt me. I see red. So I move behind the desk, and lo and behold, I've got scissors there, and Spirit said, the phone's gonna ring. The phone's gonna ring. And I'm praying. I'm like, please save me. My children, they need their mother. Help me to do the right things. So he leaves, because he makes his way into the back room, which is where the children's shoes were at the time. And I'm trying to keep the conversation going, because this is the feeling. I'm trusting my senses. And this is how Spirit is saying, keep the engagement, keep talking. And so I was saying, what are you looking for? Can I help you? Are you like trying to buy a gift for a wife or a girlfriend? And I was just trying to keep in conversation, so there was no energy, no left space where something bad could happen. So this is what I did. And the phone rings as he's making his way back into the front room where I am. And as the phone rings, I'm watching him, and I pick up the phone and I act normal. Hello, Sassy Shoe. And sure enough, he starts to walk out the door, because now he knows I have the phone call. He knows I'm busy, and there's nothing that can happen. So he leaves, and I watch the car leave. I jot down the license plate. I lock the door. End of story. So flash forward here. Let's come back to the nowadays. I recently have had not one, but 3 incidents with men that were, how do I want to word this? What is the right word to use? That were challenging me, that I knew were not of the up and up. So the first one had come in several times, spoken to different people in the building about me, telling different stories. One that he knew me, the other seemed lost and confused, wanted some answers, wanted help, but never directly speaking with me. And it was fairly, bizarre, and it's fairly easy to go on the website and make an appointment. So anyways, lo and behold, this kind of freaked me out. 5 different people tell me, they've seen this guy, blah, blah, blah. So I'm praying on it. And and I know Spirit's telling me, it's wrong. Just confront him, be forward, be straight. When you see him, don't have fear. And in the meantime, I have another person book a reading, another gentleman book a reading. And the entire time he's sitting across from me, his grandmother is coming through, and his grandmother is telling me who he is in life. Because his soul, which, when you read somebody, you can see their highest and best good. This is something I've always, innately been able to do, is see somebody at their highest and best good. So I try to guide them back to their highest and best good. I know that it's there. So while I know he has this highest and best good, I could tell his energy was low, and his grandmother comes through and she's reinforcing. And all I can tell you is, she's bringing forth this energy. He's addicted. He's inappropriate with women. And so it's on and on and on. And she's telling me all these things, and I have to communicate. I have to communicate this in the highest and best way. And the most, the most challenging part is not allowing my energy to be brought in to his circle, to his energy. So I'm staying really firm in my tone. I'm staying really confident in my energy and not backing down. So it was probably one of the most yuckiest readings I've ever done. And yucky because he was inappropriate. Yucky because, he made gestures that were inappropriate and wrong. And when it was over, thankfully, when it was over, I already knew who he was. And at the end, I was able to articulate it. This is what your grandmother is saying. Your addiction is to women. This is what she's saying and how you have to clean up your life. And so I was able to articulate it out as loving, without a judgment, but we're very clear, like, here's where you go. And letting him walk out the door, thankfully and gratefully, knowing that Spirit says, here you go. End of story. You stood in your power. You stood in your truth. So this is such an uncomfortable thing when we hear things from Spirit that aren't of the highest and best. We don't think, right? Because who wants to sit there and be hearing from their loved ones that you have an addiction, that you need to clean up? This isn't something that's validating his pain. It's actually telling him he's causing pain. And so it's a reverse. So really crazy. And so this story, why am I sharing it today? I'm not really knowing why. I feel like Spirit's just saying, share it, get it out there, because it's knowing that we have a power. And I was giving my power away to fear. I was living in a fear. I was literally not able to leave my house one morning. I had a panic attack because I was so afraid of what could happen. And Spirit said, no, don't do that. Don't give your power to that. Rather, live with light, live with the positivity, live with love, live with that you have the ability to pray. You have the power. So Spirit's guidance helped me in that moment. Spirit's guidance helped me to return back to myself and to my confidence. And that's what it can do for all of us. It can return you to your confidence. So there's number one. Spirit's guidance can help us to gain confidence where we may lack it. Right? So where we have anxiety, where we have stresses, where we have something we are afraid to do, it can help us return back. It can help change our mindset. And this is a really important thing, because this is what happened with me. My mindset changed. My mindset was, God, I can't do this anymore. I can't handle this. This is, I'm fearful. Do I learn karate? I'm just thinking of all these things, and I've already have self-protection, but what do? I want to be changing my mindset because I was in this crazy thought pattern. And this was a beautiful thing. Spirit helped me change my mindset. It brought me back to love. And they showed me that where my power was in my confidence, where my power was in my choice to choose love, where my power was removing my energy from that situation. And if you have ever listened to my podcast before, or my radio show in the past, then we talk about these energy cords that go from me to you to them, to the situations. We have cords of energy that we can return back. I call them the Twizzlers. Those peel and eat Twizzlers, the thin layers. That's what they look like. That's what our cords look like. But when we leave them plugged into all the other things, they deplete us. So we can take that energy back, fill back up, be really strong and confident. And the next one is feeling empowered, right? So when we bring our energy back in, guys, we're empowered. We're empowered. We're back. We're back. Also, Spirit's guidance can help us open our creativity. So where we might see a situation at blank, when we open up with Spirit and we use our creativity, we see there are other options. So I saw there's new options for me. I got creative with how I do business. I got creative with how my referrals are coming in. I'm getting creative with, only focusing on readings for women, just to really work on that empowerment, because this is the voice I'm speaking to. So it's really important for me. And that creativity is how we function in our life. It's how we express love, right? And Spirit's guidance can help us know what our life path is, because that gets confusing. Sometimes we don't know, and sometimes we just do things in order to do them without knowing what our path is, or the believing that we have a life path, right? Another way it can help us, is understand what our unique gifts and talents are. And that understanding help us to open and really lean into love, because when we believe we're not gifted or talented, then we're really lacking and lulling in life. And we need to be crushing it, guys. So we need to know what our unique gifts are and talents are, and we need to work with them. We need to nurture them so the Spirit's guidance can help us there. And the seventh most incredible way that Spirit's guidance can help us is to believe that we can make our dreams a reality, that we have that believability factor, that our dreams, that our abundance is actually available to us. We believe it. We know it to be true. So I innately believe that everything will be okay. I innately believe that my abundance is coming for me. It's right here. It's not just outside of me. It's here. It's right here. It's right now. So that's the empowerment that we can receive from being in alignment, from hearing Spirit's guidance to lead us in that loving place, right? How beautiful is that? You know, fear will feed us doubt and worry. Those are the things that will scare us. Fear will lead us to doubt and worry. So while these things and these situations happened, and I'm leaving like some stuff out for you, I'm totally leaving stuff out. While they happen and they're uncomfortable, they teach us a really powerful thing. Where is my power? Where is my ability to love? And where is my ability to unplug from that? So do you have something in your life where you can take a look at it and say, this was uncomfortable, but I can unplug. I'm uncomfortable, but I can love. I'm uncomfortable, I can love myself, and I can call on divine help. I can pray. I can pray that person is surrounded in love. So here's what I did when I wasn't able to leave my house. And this happened several mornings in a row. And my husband was, like really helping me, really guiding me, really loving me. I envisioned the person and the situation, really the situation, surrounded in this bubble of God's light, just beautiful, shimmering light, and away from me. And in between myself and that situation was Jesus. In between that situation was love. So no matter what your religion is, this is my symbol, right? Jesus is my symbol, it's my truth. And it doesn't have to be yours, but what's your symbol? What's your truth? And put that in between your problem. Put your problem wrapped in God's love, in divine love, and put your symbol of love in the forefront, blocking the view so you don't see it, so you're not consumed by it, so you can see love instead of chaos. That's what I'm going to leave you with. And I hope you have a beautiful day. And you know what I know, because angels don't lie.